ensure that you are making a proper planning or a proper designing on the VM creation one. So in case if you are planning to make any kind of a changes on the Microsoft side, or if you're planning for going for any kind of a on-premises to cloud lift and shift, or if you are planning for any kind of a migration, instead of doing all the VMs on a same site, better to go for a batch wise or try for a individual VM first, then go for a multiple VM migration. So this is the checklist I used to follow whenever I'm going for doing any kind of a migration, or whenever I'm going for doing any kind of a uh, VM creation. So this kind of a planning checklist always you can keep it handy with you. That will help you to do a proper planning. So you need to always to have a planning on the network side. You need to have a proper naming standard to be used. You need to have a proper pricing model to be configured, and you need to know which location the VM or what is the type of the operating system to be used. So let's start with the naming part first, then I'll come to the networking. Now, these are the first few points always you need to keep in your mind. So whenever you're going for creation of any VM, so this point always you need to take care. You need to have a clear idea what is the operating system to be used for hosting your DHCP or a DNS, because you cannot make any kind of a changes on that. And you need to have a clarity on what is the disk space to be configured, how much disk space is needed for the operating system, how much disk space you needed for the data drive, and what is the kind of processor or what is the kind of a configuration you are going to use it on this. And you need to ensure that what are the ports to be allowed or what are the ports to be blocked also, because right now every day you may be uh, hearing a lot of cyber attack. You may be heard day before yesterday Uber also it's been got attacked, right? Cyber attack. So and every day we are used hearing this kind of a cyber attack kind of a situations in the market or in the infrastructure side. So you need to ensure that you are configuring a proper strategy on the network or a cloud security part also. Ensure that only uh, or you're making some kind of a restriction on the communication also, because we need to ensure that your infrastructure is been properly it's been secured. So when it is coming on a naming part, so few minutes before or before the break, we have configured a couple of VMs, right? We given some names like a, dev, or we have given some name like a server one or a VM1. But when you are going on a production scenarios, we cannot use the terms like a VM1 or a server one, because Manjula was saying example like she's having 1,000 VMs on the infrastructure. We cannot give a names like a VM1 or a VM2 or a VM3, right? Maybe today you may be configuring this one. Tomorrow this VM or the infrastructure may be managed by the other engineers, right? So you need to have a proper standard nomenclature or the standard naming pattern to be used in your infrastructure. So I'm just giving some guidelines here. So each company or each organization or each college may be having a different terminologies or a different structure or a standard may be using. I used to use or Microsoft documents. You may be able to see this kind of a pattern or this type of guidelines generally it's been given. Always you can give some kind of a infrastructure uh, naming to your VM, like where this has been using. Is it using on a development side? You can use a letters like a DEV, or if it is from a production, you can use a names like say prod, or if it is from a quality one, you can able to use like a QA. And the second terminology you can able to use like which data center this is being used. For example, like if I'm configuring a US data center, US itself you have multiple data center, so you can able to give like UE for the US East data center, and if it is a US West, you can give it like a USW. And if you are can able to mention what is the role it's been used, it's be easy for you to understand, or it's easy for your colleague to understand what is the type of the operating system it is. and where this has been hosted. Right now in the screen, I'm just giving an example here. Right now you can able to see I have given some um, um, VM names here. Now, if you're seeing here, I hope you are able to identify this one, right? Can you try to identify this one? If you're seeing here, first letter it's been like, yes, this has been a development one, right? Development one. And this has been using in a US data center, US South Central data center. And this has been configured with a web. And this has been using a VM. And this is using a VM1. It's very beautifully, it's been organized, right? Now, if you are able to identify this one, uh, or if you can organize all your VM like this, it's been easy for you to manage rather than yes, rather than giving it's been like a VM1 or a VM2 or a server one. It's been easy for you to organize and it's easy for you to identify who is using and what is the type of the applications using. I hope you are agreeing with this point. You have any other thought? If you are agreeing, can you just comment it on the chat window? Okay. So I think all of us is having a similar kind of thought is here. So it's been for us like end of the day, as a cloud administrator, we are going to manage this one. So um, I think we always been agreeing this point. So it's been easy for us to manage. Now, whenever you're going for a Linux one, up to 64 character has been supported, and Windows side it's been 15 is the norm generally we are using. Um, Fonk, I think I already answered your question. This been your question will be covering in the network one, because if I'm spending a time on this one, I may have to start from an IP address and schema. Again, I need to go back on the day for on the networking one. So it's been confusing for all the batches. That's the reason your two question I've been moved on the bucket. Yes, I promise you I'll be covering on the network side. Okay, don't worry about that. Now we have seen it's been like when we are configuring a VM, along with your VM, always there's a couple of additional resources also it's been configured. You have a storage account, you have a virtual network, you have a network interface card, and you have a couple of security group also it's been created. So always you need to remember whenever you're creating any compute or a VM on a Microsoft Azure side, is not only the VM is being created, you need to remember a point in your mind. Along with the VM, there is a couple of additional dependent resources also it's been created. So there's a one point always you need to remember. Now, this is one of the important point always you need to remember your mind. Whenever you're creating any VM or any resource on a Microsoft Azure side, location or a region has been very important. The reason it's like, now if you go back to this VM or to the Azure portal, you may be noticed whenever you're trying to create any resource on a Microsoft portal, for example, like let's try to create a resource. It's mandatory that data center details we need to provide always, right? You may be noticed here in the region tab or in the region option, there is a red color symbol you are able to see, right? Saying that here, Robin, it's mandatory that you need to provide these details. Now, this has been applicable for all resource. It's not that only for a virtual machine. No, this has been applicable for other resources also. Like when we are going for a virtual network, or when you try to create a virtual network, you can able to see it's mandatory that there is a region option is been available here. Now, the location has been mandatory. For example, like, there are 2 points you need to remember here. For example, like if I'm trying to create a virtual machine, um, I created a financier. Now I have flexibility to select multiple data centers here. So the thumb rule always you need to remember 2 points. First one, pricing is an important part. For example, like if I'm trying to create a VM on in the East US data center, you can able to see what is the cost here. For example, like I've selected Windows Server 2019. In the bottom, you may be able to see there is a loading price is being given here, right? Right now you can able to see. Right now I have been connected from India, so the amount it's been showing in Indian currency, saying that here Robin, you need to pay 4,300 rupees for a 2 CPU or 8 GB RAM. Now I have selected which location is to US data center. Now if I'm going and selecting other data center, for example, like I've been selected South African North. Let's see what is the price is being given here. You may be able to see a price got changed, right? Right now, instead of 4,000, what is the amount it's been coming here? It's been around, uh, instead of 4,000, the amount is being got changed into 5,000 rupees. Now, if you go to another country, for example, like last couple of years, I'm just thinking like I'll go to Switzerland. Let's try to select an option like Switzerland. Now, Switzerland, what is the price is been coming? Uh, See, amount is being again got changed, right? So this pricing is an important factor whenever you're creating a resource, because each location will have a different price tagging or a price or the rate card will be available. That depends upon the local resource or the local infrastructure cost. All it's been calculated based on that. There is a pricing it's been given. That is the one point. Second point you need to remember, right now Robin has been selected, this location has been Switzerland, because Robin is thinking like, hey, I never visited Switzerland, so let's go and create a VM on a Switzerland. Is that the right strategy? No. Always you need to consider your user location also. For example, like all my users is sitting on a Philippines. There is no point of configuring my server in Switzerland, right? I need to keep my servers near to my geography, right? If my all users are from the Philippines, I may have to put my servers near to a Philippines or in the Philippines itself. The reason it's mean like, latency is one of the common concern or one of the common uh, challenge which all of us are facing in a real production scenarios. So that's the second factor you need to consider. Clear? And the third factor you need to consider whenever you're designing any VM or any resource, you need to ensure that that particular product is being available in that particular country or available in that particular data center. Yes, I agree. Microsoft is having regions of 54 plus regions. It's been supported and it's been available on 140 country. That doesn't mean all the configurations or all the products are available in each region. No. So always you need to refer Microsoft document. So you need to have a problem like Azure regions tab. You need to go to Azure region and you need to ensure that that particular product is being available. Now, if you are able to see Brazil, now if you want to see in a product wise, if you want to see, these are the data center they have. Now, if I need to see in the product wise, Azure region products, I can show product by region, because once you design, you cannot make any kind of a modification to your environment, right? For example, like I need to find out the computer base. I'm just selecting VM, right? I need to select it's been virtual machines. Now, if I'm selecting here, I can able to select all the regions here. I can ensure that what is the configurations are available here. Now, I need to always, as a cloud administrator or a cloud architect, always you need to refer the Microsoft Azure product page. Otherwise, you will be in a trouble, because in case if you uh, committed your business saying that, hey, this particular configuration has been available in the Brazil region, and now your cloud administrator has been trying to configure this one, and Microsoft is saying that, hey, this configuration is not available there, we cannot go back. We cannot go back to the business and saying that, sorry, boss, I made a mistake. This product is me not available in this data center region or it's in the particular country. So that may lead or that may escalate into multiple levels and you will be in a trouble. So whenever you're designing any product, I'm not saying only the virtual machine, any product, if you're trying to create it here, always refer this page, select that particular product or particular service or a particular uh, configuration is being available in that region. So that's the one important point you need to remember. So typically, whenever you're designing any VM or any product, ensure that where is your user is been residing. Second one, it's been like the pricing is an important tag. And third one is the particular configuration also it's been available in that location. So end of the session, you need to understand location is one of the important factor always you need to consider whenever you are designing any product.